Hello everybody, and thank you so much for watching. Today we will make this necklace shawl. It is made with only slip stitches and chains. It has 16 rounds. You can make it with or without the beads. Here it is from the back, with the collar up and the collar folded down. I'm using Hometown yarn from Lion brand. And I'm using a smaller hook than suggested. Suggested is N13 9mm, but I used 2 sizes smaller, a K 10.5 or 6.5mm, to get a tighter stitch for the shawl. This necklace shawl is made with 16 rounds. Here's our first round, where we have the 20 chains. And then we add more and more chains as we go along, so 20, 25, 30, every round has 5 more chains, and then every 4th round I will add beads, but you don't have to add beads, you can just make the chains. And as you can see on this part, as we get more chains, this part here is tapering down, so we make more chains. This gets smaller and smaller. This is how it looks from the right side, and this is how it looks from the wrong side. Start round 1 by making 70 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make 70 chains. I made 70 chains, and now I will count 20 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And into the 20th chain I put a marker. Make sure your chain is not twisted, and then make a slip stitch into the very first chain. Here's our thread that we started, and right next to that little bump make the slip stitch. If it gets loose on you, you can tighten it now. Then make a chain, and into this chain place a marker. And start round 2. Into the stitch next to the slip stitch, into the top loop only, make a slip stitch. Then a chain, skip 1 stitch, and into the next stitch make a slip stitch again, and we will only work in the top loops. Chain 1, skip 1, make a slip stitch. Chain 1, skip 1, and make a slip stitch. Chain 1, skip 1, and make a slip stitch. And continue this pattern until you reach the first marker. I almost reached my marker. I make 1 more chain, skip the next stitch, and then right next to the marker is my last slip stitch. Every round we will increase, and that's what we're doing here now. So before I do that, I always remove my marker and put it into the last stitch, right in front of the loop that's on the hook. We made 20 chains, or we counted 20 chains here. Now we add 5, so now we will make 25 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Make sure when you go to the other side, everything is straight and nothing's twisted. So I make sure my little chain is straight. Here's my marker, and to the left of the marker, into that stitch I make my new slip stitch. Chain 1, start round 3, and now I can move my marker and put it into that chain. Then into the next stitch, start the pattern again, make a slip stitch. Into the next stitch, chain 1, skip 1, slip, chain 1, skip 1, slip, and so on until you reach the first marker again. I'm making my last chain, skip 1 into the right of the marker and make my last slip stitch before I make my chain again. And I move my stitch marker into that stitch next to my hook. And you can tell where the bump is here. This is our last stitch in the next round. We made 20 chains, 25 here. Now we will make 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please make 30 chains. Make sure your chain is not twisted. Go to the left of the marker into that stitch. Make the slip stitch and the chain and put the marker into that chain. And start round 4. Go into the next stitch, make the slip stitch, chain, skip 1 and slip, chain, skip 1 and slip, and repeat that to the next marker. In every 4th round, I want to add beads. If you don't want to add beads, you just keep with the pattern, you keep on with the pattern and add 5 chains in every round. So this round has 20, 25, 30, 35 chains, and then 40 in the next round and 45 and so on. But in every 4th round I want to add beads. So I will chain 3, 1, 2, 3 and add a bead. And that counts as a chain, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, and I add a bead. And that is 8, 9, 10, 11, and the bead is 12, the 12th chain. Thirteen, 14, 15, and the 16th chain is the bead. And in this way I will add 4 more beads, so altogether we will have 8. So I started with 3 chains. In the 4th chain I have the bead, in the 8th chain, in the 12, 16, 20, 24, 28 and 32nd chain I have the bead. Now I make 33, 34, 35 chain, my 35th chain, and I make sure everything is straight again, and I go to the other side, make a slip stitch next to the marker, chain 1, move my marker into the chain, and start round 5. And I continue my pattern as usual. Make a slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1, skip 1, and so on. Then when you get to your chain, make the last slip stitch to the right of your marker. Then make 40 chains, 45 chains in round 6, and 50 chains in round 7. And then when you get to round 8, work your way up to where we make the 55 chains, or we can add the 13 beads, and I meet you right there where we add the 13 beads. I finished round 5. I made 40 chains. Then I finished round 6. I made 45 chains. And I finished round 7. And I made 50 chains. Then I started round 8. And now I have to make 55 chains. And since this is our 4th round, since we made the beads, then I added 1, 2, 3 rounds, so 5, 6, and 7. And then in the 8th round I will add beads again. So every 4th round will be a bead round. I chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th chain I add the bead. Then make 3 chains again. So that's 5, 6, 7, and on the 8th one add the bead. I put in 13 beads in the 4th chain, in the 8th, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, and 52 to get 55 chains. Now I make 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and we're at 55 chains. And now I will start round 9, and you have to be a little careful so you don't twist your chain. It's getting pretty long. Go to the beginning and then start round 9 the same way we did all of our other rounds. Go to the left of the marker, make the slip stitch, make the chain, move your marker, and then start the pattern again. Slip stitch, chain, skip 1, slip stitch, and now make the next 3 rounds. Round 9, which is this round now, 9 with 60 chains, 10 with 65 chains, and round 11 with 70 chains. And I meet you at round 12 where we make 75 chains, but we add the beads again. So this is where I am after round 11. This is the beginning of the round, and we're tapering off this way. Round 1, 2, 3, 4 with the beads, 5, 6, 7, 8 with the beads, 9, 10, and 11. 9 60 chains, 10 65, and 11 70. Now we start round 12, where you can either make 75 chains or put the 18 beads in there. And I add the beads the same way. 1, 2, 3 chains, and the bead replaces the 4th chain. Five, 6, 7, and the bead replaces the 8th chain, and so on. Keep going until you have 18 beads. So the 18 beads, if you count it, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on, you should count all the way up to 72, and we need 75, so we have to make 73, 74, 75. 3 more chains, that gets us to 75. And now carefully make sure you don't twist anything. Go to the other side and finish the round with a slip stitch next to the marker. A chain, move the marker, and start round 13. And in round 13 we will make 80 chains, in round 14 85, in round 15 90, and in round 16 you can either make 95 chains or add the 23 beads, and that will be my last round. And I continue my pattern as usual. Make a slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1, skip 1, and so on. And then when you get to your chains, add the 5 chains in each round. I finished my 16th round. I put 23 beads, and this replaces the last bead, replaces the 92nd chain. So I have to do 93, 94, 95, 3 more chains to get the 95 chains. And then I finish by making a slip stitch next to the marker, and I sew in my loose end.